Hello and welcome to part 2 of my travel vlog from Cambodia. In this video we will be talking about by far the most important and touristic archaeological site in Cambodia, the ancient city of Angkor. Angkor used to be the capital of the Khmer Empire between 9th and 15th century, thus most of the temples inside are built in the 12th and 13th century. It was built as a Hindu complex, however with time Cambodians transformed it into a Buddhist center of worship. You've probably heard of Angkor Wat, an enormous temple made from rock hidden inside the Cambodian jungle. This is by far the most preserved landmark inside the archaeological complex of Angkor. The best time to visit the temple is at sunrise, which means you should probably get up at around 5 AM, but the morning views are stunning and it's really worth it. When you first enter the temple building, you will see the Hall of 1,000 Gods, which represents 4 sacred pools encircled by corridors. On the next level, you'll get into an inner court and you'll get a better view of the main temple building. Pay attention for holidays, especially religious ones, because the third and highest level of Angkor Wat can sometimes be closed for spiritual ceremonies. As it is the biggest and most preserved temple inside the complex, you can easily spend several hours solely at Angkor Wat. If you walk several minutes from Angkor Wat, you'll get to maybe one of the only hills inside the Angkor archaeological area. It's then an additional 10 minutes hike uphill through the jungle to get to the top, where you can find the beautiful Phnom Bakeng temple. This temple has been built in the form of a pyramid and it's actually around 300 years older than Angkor Wat itself. From here you can get stunning views of Angkor Wat, but most of the people gather here for a view of the descending sun just before sunset. Even though it will probably be crowded, it is a must-do activity when visiting Angkor. I want to distract you briefly from the main topic to tell you about Siem Reap, the second biggest city in Cambodia. This is also the nearest city to Angkor Wat, so chances are you'll get a hotel there while visiting the temple complex. Siem Reap is quite touristic, however most prices were lower compared to the capital Phnom Penh.
Всички поръчват този бургер за $1 и ще го пробваме след малко.
It's quite lively during the evening and there are many bars and restaurants, especially in the center. Its main attraction is the so-called Pub Street, which had a similar vibe to Khao San Road in Bangkok. Even though Angkor Wat is the most important point of interest inside the archaeological area of Angkor, the main walled city is actually situated several kilometers north of the temple. Its name is Angkor Thom, and what you're seeing on your screen is the city's southern gate. In the center of Angkor Thom you can see the beautiful Bayon temple. It's another one of the must-see sites of Angkor and it's characterized by these serene smiling faces carved on the temple's towers. Bayon temple is much more compact in comparison to Angkor Wat, but as you can see the architectural style is very unique and there are many more ornaments and details in the temple's walls. In very close proximity to Bayon you can find several more temples, the first of them being Baphon. Baphon is another example of a temple that has been built in the form of a pyramid.
Това беше доста високо качване. За съжаление май не може да се качим най-нависоко.
If you then take the path north through the jungle, you will pass by Phimenak's temple, which in our case was closed for renovations. After several more minutes you'll get to Palilai temple, which looks like it's completely taken over by the tropical forest. It was one of my favorite places in Angkor as there were little to no tourists there. We also managed to take some stunning pictures of the temple. You will also see this large meadow in the center of Angkor Thom. This resembles the remains of the former emperor's palace. If you ask me how you get around such a big temple complex, there are several possibilities. As I already mentioned, some of the temples are within a walking distance from one another. That being said, Siem Reap, where most of the hotels are, is around 10 kilometers away from Angkor and the most convenient means of transportation is by tuk-tuk. Most of the people rent the tuk-tuk for the whole day, so if you rent it one way only, there is a chance that you have difficulties finding another tuk-tuk to go back, as most of them would already be taken. An alternative method is to rent a bike, as there is a nice cycling route through most of the temples of Angkor, and it would be way cheaper. Barais are artificial lakes and are a common element of the architectural style of the Khmer Empire. One of them is Srang, whose western platform is another popular place to watch the sunrise while at Angkor. Next to Srang, you can see the majestic walls of Bantaig Day, another one of the temples of Angkor. Although Bantaig Day is a fairly big temple, it's not that well preserved, but this leaves a calming feeling in you that time has stopped here entirely. You can also see some very big trees that have sprung up from the ruins of this ancient temple. From here, after a 5-minute walk, you can reach one of the most famous temples of Angkor, the magnificent Ta Prohm Temple. This scenery may seem familiar to you, and this isn't surprising. The temple was used as a primary location for filming the blockbuster movie from 2001 Warcraft Tomb Raider. Again, the temple is completely taken over by the jungle, and I think it was left like this on purpose. One of the temple's buildings that has a massive tree emerging from its roof is a famous location for taking pictures here in Angkor. When you visit Angkor, you can choose between purchasing a 1, 3 or 7-day pass. We spent 3 days exploring the temples of Angkor, which I'd say is the minimum amount of time you should plan for visiting the temple complex. We managed to see the majority of the biggest and most famous temples, but there are still many more left to explore. I hope you find this video informative and interesting, and thus I want to invite you to check one of my other videos regarding Cambodia and subscribe to the channel if you want to. See you later, and remember, when it comes to traveling, always do it yourself.